According to Google, chronic absenteeism is missing more than 10% of school days for any reason, excused or unexcused. But what does that really mean? And why does it matter? Millions of students struggle to attend school regularly. Some face challenges beyond their control: poverty, mental illness, health problems, or family responsibilities. Others become disengaged, feeling school no longer serves them. In Indiana, chronic absenteeism remains a consistent concern. In the 2023 to 2024 school year, 17.4%, 1 in 5 students were chronically absent, meaning they missed at least 10% of school. It is still notably higher than the pre-pandemic level of 11%. These statistics underscore the ongoing challenges Indiana faces keeping students in the classroom. For some, chronic absenteeism isn't just a stat, it's a lived experience. Many who struggle with attendance in school often struggle with the long-lasting consequences, whether that's going back to school to finish or creating opportunities for themselves in the future.
My name is Steve Eccles, and what I do is manage Uptown Cafe in Carmel. I'm one of the owners of that restaurant.
That's really funny because for me and him, no, but for anybody watching this is technically still my boss, so.
Yeah, you quit on me, man. You didn't tell me you were leaving. You didn't say you were coming back. You just quit.
Man, it just happened, man. One day I woke up, I was like, man, I'm not.
They say he needed a break, but he never came back.
I think what had happened was one of the days where I said, and you texted me before I got up, and you were like, "Nah, we don't need you today. You're good." I was like, man. That next Sunday came around, I was like, but I'm not getting up. So tell me a little bit about why you didn't finish high school. Like, what happened and that transcribed?
I think early on, I was okay, but my parents split up. So my mom and dad split up. Once my dad moved out, there was really no authority. Mm-hmm. In the house, because I didn't really respect my mom. I respected her, but I didn't disrespect her. But I wanted to party and wanted to hang out with my friends, and so that it became a more of a. My mom had to work, so she wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of free time with my friends and stuff. So I started like hanging out after school instead of doing homework. Yeah. So once I got behind. And you become a senior, and you ain't got all your credits. You're just behind. You either come back next year or you don't go back. Mm-hmm. So I chose not to go back. Because I was embarrassed. Mm. Like all my friends was graduating, and I didn't want to go back to be a senior again. Yeah. Some people it didn't bother, but it bothered me. So I just kind of quit.
It wasn't really like a thing that happened to you. That said, that you like, man, I don't want to do this no more, except for the fact it just built up to the decision of you not wanting to go back, you not wanting to finish, right?
Yeah, it just, my senior year came around, and I had already flunked like 7th grade. Oh, wow. So I was already supposed to come out a year before that. Instead of coming out in 88, I was supposed to come out in 87. So I had already been a year behind, so, it was just embarrassing. Now, here I am, a senior, in 88, and I'm not coming out. So I was just like, you know what? I'll just either go to summer school or night school or, do something else. I'm not going to, go back to school. And so my mom and my dad was really disappointed. But at that time, I'm 18, 19 years old. It was solely my decision to do what I wanted to do. Yeah. They had no control of me. I had moved out of the house. Me and my sister moved out, got an apartment. And, my mom was always saying, you need to go back to school, you need to go back to school, you need to get your GED or get your diploma. And it always had been in my head. I always wanted to do it, but then I started having kids early, so after I had my kids, then, it wasn't, I just didn't have the motivation to go back. But I had the motivation to work and take care of my kids. So I put them first and worked 2 jobs. And just, got off one and went to the next one. Yeah. Just to take care of my kids. So I kind of put them first before everything else. So that's kind of how schools kind of strayed away from from me before I, actually went back.
Was there a big moment for you that made you want to go? Like, did somebody inspire you? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Tyler, my youngest son. So he was at ISU, and I had been talking about it, and I said, man, I kind of want to go back, get my GED. And that's all I really wanted to get was my GED.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get my GED. I'm cool.
You good? Yeah.
So Tyler was, in school, and he, of course we had Ava, and he was, saying if you go back, and he gave me a time frame. He was like, if you do this, and this year, about time Ava's, 15, you'll be graduating from, college. You'll be, in the position to do this.
Yeah.
You'll be trying to open up your restaurant. He's like, it's all time. And then he kept saying, you should do it. So Tyler really, pushed me to go. And I had the time because he, most of my kids were grown then, and we just had Ava. So my other 3 kids was grown. They were out the house. They were independent. I got them to where I needed to get them, with me working 2 jobs and paying for his school. And so it was just kind of my turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of my turn now. I did it for them now. Now I went back to do it for myself.
So I would say there are a lot of young people nowadays that struggle with that same exact thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Following the crowd and things like that. And honestly, in my opinion, I wasn't there to know, but I feel like it's gotten worse over time. Just the crowd has gotten bigger.
Yeah.
And it's easier to follow it, right?
Yeah.
So what would you tell somebody that maybe doesn't even know that they are following the crowd? What would you tell them to say, this is what you should do, or if I was you, or if I was in your shoes, which you have been, what would you say to them to help them?
I was telling my niece the other day because she's in California, and her son is getting older, and I think he's like 12, and she had lost her dad when she was younger, so she's kind of been a mentor to her.
Yeah.
Up through her years. She's like 31 now, 32. Okay. Always had conversations with her about what she should do and where she should go.
Yeah.
And, decisions she was making. She didn't listen to all of them, but she always had me in her ear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's important, when you got to have somebody in your ear, like pointing the direction out that you need to go. So I think it's important to have somebody, man, in your ear, whether it's a friend, and sometimes it don't always have to be an adult. Sometimes kids have, or mature enough to point you in the right direction. It don't always have to be an adult to be a mentor.
Yeah.
It can be a kid, and kids keep kids out of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
And kids keep kids in trouble. You know what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be an adult to follow or to listen to. It can be someone that maybe you're looking at that like, dang, he's got his stuff together. Maybe I need to listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think it's important to have somebody in your ear, whether it's adult or a kid.
How do you think that you not finishing high school affected you long term? Like, do you feel like that really made you struggle in any area of your life?
Oh, well, yeah. Absolutely. So this is the thing. So the company that I own, I got fired from. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that. Like me and several of my partners that we own the store, we got fired from that store.
Okay.
From the company. So before I opened up my own place, I used to go and I open up restaurants, and that's what I used to do. You know what I mean? I'd be in charge of going to Arby's and opening up a new Arby's, or going to Sunrise, open up a new Sunrise, or Paradise, going up a new Paradise. So I would go and do all the work, and then they would bring somebody in over me. And I kept on saying, hey, what's the issue?
Yeah.
You don't have a diploma. You don't have the education. So I got tired of hearing that. And then, your dad kind of knew about my issues, and he had came into Paradise one time, and he know, like, dang, he been in his store, he'd have been in this store, he'd have been in that store, and he said, why ain't you doing this for yourself?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this for the other folks? And I was like, a light bulb went off. Because I really didn't need I was the one that was doing it. I'm the one that's opening the stores. Yeah. I'm the one that's hiring the people. I'm the one that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking at the numbers, the P&Ls. I'm the one that's doing all the work. All they did was have the money, you know, to open the place.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to open the place, but I had the skills to run it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just, after disappointment, you gonna get the next store. I want help him come over here, help him come over here, help him. I was coming in and I was helping dudes that they were getting twice the money that I was getting, and they couldn't do the job.
Yeah.
But they had you know, they was the GM, and then I was the assistant GM.
Yeah.
You know, but they the boss, they making more money, they got the parking spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just really got fed up, man. But I couldn't argue with them because I didn't have no education.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What I'm supposed to say? They show me your education, and we'll give you the job. We know you can do it, but we got to have some kind of, you know, degree or at least a high school diploma. So I really got fed up. My son was talking to me. I was in a position. I knew that I could get a store. My own location. I knew everything that I could do. I just had to go after it and do it. But I made the sole decision to do that. Once I did, best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made, because when I went back to school, I learned so much being going back for business that I didn't have to ask anybody anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what intimidated people. And I saw that right off the back, because things would happen and things would come up in business, and I say, oh, well, that's, you know, this is what that is, or that ain't what that is, or, you know, it should go this way. And so people start looking at me like, you know, I was in school. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people start looking at me different when I start answering questions and I start making decisions to make things run better and food costs go down and things like that. So, you know, it became really important to me, you know, that I didn't have to ask anybody how to do anything anymore. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. But for the times that you were in school and the time that you did spend in school, how did you feel about being there for the time that you were there?
Well, I wasn't there.
Wow.
I was suspended.
Oh, wow.
I was in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we was coming in there, you know, we was going to basketball games, fighting people, coming in school, fighting people, you know, drinking, partying all night, you know what I mean? You know, my high school years was really, really rough because that's when my dad left. And so after my dad left, I just kind of really got out of control. But once I got to my sophomore and my junior year, I started getting a little more settled down. You know, I got a girlfriend, you know, and then that kind of helped me, you know, get my grades together. Because, you know, no girl wanted no dummy. You know what I mean? Yeah. The girls wanted, and girls back then wanted to know that you were getting good grades. When I was in school, you know, they would want to see your report card, you know, or get some help with some homework. You know what I mean? If you're in study hall and your girlfriend's in study hall, if she don't know what she's doing, she wants some help. So, you know, for me, it was like, I had a really cute girlfriend, and I liked her a lot, but I knew that she didn't want no dummy. So I had to change what I was doing. You know, I wanted to shine in front of her, so I start doing my homework. And then, I mean, I didn't get any A's until my junior year. And I didn't get, not just A's, I didn't get any F's my junior year. I had always had F's on my report card. And here I am, a junior, and I'm like, get my report card, and I knew why my report card looked like it was. It wasn't because of me, it was because of her. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to shine, and I'm trying to dress clean and look good, but you gotta have some grades to back that up, man. When you're in high school, you gotta have some grades to back it up. Because, you know, those are you get the girls that or the cheerleaders, or the Golden Knight dancers, or whoever they are. It's always the important guys, athletes, just like it is for women. And so I elevated my homework once I got a girlfriend. It just changed things for me. It changed. I stopped getting in trouble a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because dudes will get you in trouble all day. Them girls, they'll get you in trouble, but it's a different kind of trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You end up might having kids. It's the kind of trouble. But I'd rather get in that kind of trouble than jail trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened with me, man. I started off a nice kid. I got really in a lot of trouble and got bad, and then I changed my life because I didn't want to end up dead, and I didn't want to end up in jail.
Have you seen anything or have any examples of people my age that have been affected by not going to school? That's what it is. It took me a while.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, man. So on my dad's side of the family, I have a lot of family that sell drugs, fight, carry guns, don't go to school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of my family are some of these people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's sad. So because they wonder why I kept my kids away from their kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Terrell and Tyler, they couldn't go stay all night with my cousin's kids.
Yeah. Because
my cousin's kids was selling drugs, and they were stealing, and they were doing things that they shouldn't do. Right? And this was like Tyler's just turned 31. So he's still pretty young.
Yeah.
But my other families that are 31, Tyler just got back from Japan. Tyler just got a raise. He's 30. He was 30. He's at $120,000 a year.
Wow.
So Terrell, he's doing really well. So, and then I look at my cousins' kids. They in jail. They're selling drugs. Their kids is in juvenile now. Their kids are walking around, the school, cussing people out, fighting the teachers. You know what I mean? So parenting is one thing that is different now than it used to be.
Yeah.
So the parenting with kids your age or younger or older is not the same. It's not the same. People are scared of their kids now. Kids are murdering their parents now. You know what I mean? Kids are coming in school shooting now. You know what I mean? And it's things are out of control here in the United States. It's hard to just put your finger on this is wrong, that's wrong. There's a whole lot wrong. You know what I mean? There's more than just one thing. Why kids aren't in school, why kids aren't shooting, out shooting. It's the parents. If that's where it starts at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And unless the parents change, you know what I mean? The new millennium parents right now don't look like they're changing. Yeah. They look like they're getting worse because the kids is hanging out, drinking with the parents. You know what I mean? They hanging out at 2-3 morning with the parents. Yeah. You know what I mean? My parents would put me to bed. Just because you're 16 or 17 years old don't mean that you're going to hang out in here with the grown folks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Grown folks is grown folks, So I've had, some of Tyler's friends have made bad choices, ended up in prison. He's got friends in prisons now. My brother just got out last week. My brother just got out. He went in when he was 19. Wow. He's 54 now. Wow. 54. He's been locked up since he was 19. He's 54 now. He just got out. I just think that it's going to be hard to get a lot of these kids guns off the street unless the parents get involved. The parents get involved and they know their kids is doing wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? They know their kids is doing wrong, but they don't do anything to stop it. They don't do anything to change it. You know what I mean? So you have more parents not paying attention to their kids than living their own lives than you do trying to help them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sad because the kids that are academic in sports, academic in homework and school, you know, those are the ones that are threatened by these people. And it's always the ones that are trying to be successful or trying to go somewhere that ends up shot or hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's never the one, it's always the bad ones, is always ones that in the jail. They're getting life. You know what? And that's what my brother said. I said, man, what was the hardest thing for you when you were leaving? You know, because he just got out. And I said, he said, man, I was watching them young dudes coming there, 20, 21, 19, 18, 17, getting life. Life in prison. He said, they have no idea. And I just told the dudes, I'm going home. I've been here 20-something years. And he's like, I'm going home. Dude, 17, 18 years old, getting life. And he said they had no idea. He was so thankful to get out. And, you know, but he watched it. That's one thing that he was doing, was watching all these kids coming into prison. You know what I mean? They're 19, 18 years old. Here he is 50 now. You know what I mean? And he's watching them come in, but it's too late.
Yeah.
You got life. It's too late. You know what I mean? Some of them come in there in 50 years. You know what I mean? It's too late. They're gonna be 70 when they get out. If they live, if they're not murdered in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a lot of, you know, a lot of young youth that I've seen, you know, television and, you know, out here in the streets. Might be my dad's cousin's friend, son, you know, who murdered somebody or shot somebody or you know, drinking and driving. It just depends on what it is, man. There's a lot of altercations that happen with youth that sometimes it doesn't always involve a gun. It doesn't always involve, you know, robbery or, you know, there's several things that, you know, when you're younger that you can get involved in. And it just takes you away from, you know, society. You know, it takes you away, and you got to be responsible of your choices, man, you know, because it only takes one time to make the wrong choice. And that wrong choice could end you up somewhere that you don't want to be for a long time. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule. I know you have a busy schedule.
I was falling asleep on my way over here, son. I think I ain't going to make it.
So, I did record an interview with my mentor, but the file got corrupted. But here are the main points we got from the interview: the importance of leadership in addressing absenteeism, mentorship and student success, systemic issues in education, and lastly, the challenges and future of education. Indiana's chronic absenteeism isn't just a stat. It reflects deeper systematic problems in education. As Dr. Dickerson highlighted in our interview, strong leadership plays a crucial role in addressing absenteeism, ensuring students feel supported and seen. She often gave stories about helping students feel seen and keeping them in the school. Mentorship is another key factor, as students with difficult home environments often need help staying engaged. However, larger systemic barriers such as cultural dissonance and the overemphasis of standardized testing often hinder young people from getting their education. Without meaningful reform, these issues will continue to contribute to high absenteeism rates in the state, leaving many students at risk of falling through the cracks. Tackling chronic absenteeism takes more than just policy changes. It takes stronger leaders, supporters, and empowerment to our students. By high school, chronic absenteeism is the strongest predictor if a student is going to drop out or not. But there are also so many factors that play into a student's success. All right, what's up, buddy?
What's the deal?
How you been doing?
I'm being cool, working. My name's Saheem Muhammad. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, born on the east side.
Okay.
That's really it, bro. I love to play football.
Before we get into all the school stuff, tell me a little bit about like what you do now, like mainly what you do now. Even if what you do now is like mainly school, then that's fine. Like tell me a little bit about that, like because you do online school now. But still, like tell me mainly about what you do.
I go to school and work, but at school I go to the Excel Center, so I only go for 2 classes a day, then do the rest online. I go to work. I work at FedEx and the Dollar General on 38th and Keystone.
Okay.
So I can get my car people gonna be whipping soon.
How long have you been doing online school for?
Since January.
January?
Yeah.
So like January this year or January last year?
January this year.
January this year. So you kind of just started.
Yeah.
Okay. So beforehand, were you like in school beforehand?
Yeah.
Like you was going to school?
Yeah, I was in Cali.
Okay, yeah. How often was you going like every day type ground?
It was like a regular high school type.
Regular high school.
It was a point where I wanted to drop out though. I wasn't in school for like 3-4 months.
You wasn't?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Like what happened like that made you do that?
I low key got backdoored by my homies like in Cali. And my mama got sick, so I was helping her out getting a job and everything. She got cancer, so I come out here. I tried to go back to Tinley. I messed up my whole high school life. They was trying to put me back in junior year. And I was like, I'm not going. So I tried to go to Warren. Warren wasn't trying to take me. LN wasn't trying to take me. LC, all of them.
Yeah.
So it was like hard. Like I ain't really want to go back to school, but I really went back to the streets for a little bit. But I had it was one day I woke up, I was like, nah. I had contacted the Excel Center. They said I can come in January. I went to orientation. I'm cool. I'm almost done now. And my GPA, by the time I end, my GPA is going to be like a 3.5. When I got backdoored by my homies in Cali, I had left school because we had practice right after that had happened. So I went home. I called my mom. I was like, yo, mom, I'm going to have to come out there. I was going to come out there and help you. She bought me the flight next day. I'm out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really got friends like that no more because it's hard to trust people.
Yeah, I feel that. What made you want to go back and try to finish?
Football. I want to go to school to play football, bro. That's like that's my piece. Like every time, even though I was getting whooped on in practice one time, like I can't lie, but that football is my piece. I love going to go play football, and when I graduate, I'm gonna try to go to IU and walk on, or not IU, Ball State.
What would you say to somebody that would maybe help them get through a time where they're not going to school? Because I feel like, do you feel like you were more stressed when you weren't doing schoolwork, or you didn't have something to focus on?
I ain't had nothing to do. I ain't had nothing to do but get on the game, bro.
Yeah. And
wash dishes, bro. That's all I had to do. It was hard getting a job for a little bit. Then I got one, but that wasn't enough, bro. I really just wanted to go back to school and meet new people.
Yeah. Tell me about something you would say to somebody that's maybe younger than you, that's kind of having problems around the same area that makes them maybe not want to go to school. They don't really have anybody that's encouraging them to, be in school or just, do stuff like that. Tell me, what would you say?
I mean, like, focus on what you want to do. You want to sit there and be a bum for the rest of your life? Like, nah, you can't do that. Like, at least you can say, if you want to go to college, at least you can say you can go to college. You ain't gonna sit in the house all day. Like, that's not the move for anybody. Always just look forward to getting some money in your pocket, because that's what you gotta do, and that's the world we live in. And if Indianapolis is not the place that anyone want to stay at. So yeah, go to college, bro. That's for everybody. If you don't want to go to college, it's like you can go find a trade or go to trade school, bro. There's always a way out. Even if you in like the area I grew up in. I grew up on 38th and on Pendleton Pike, bro. I was in that area, and I still am pushing forward to graduate. I'm going against all the odds that was put against me. School is there for you to succeed, and the people there, you know how they say it takes a village to raise a kid or a child. That's how everyone becomes. But it's really the area, especially the parents in the area that you in. Some people choose to give up and do dumb shit, bro. I promise you.
Tell me a little bit about how important taking care of your mom has been, and if there's been any like struggle in having to do both, taking care of your mom and what's it called? And like try to do schoolwork and stuff like that?
Man, it's just a real hard struggle. I gotta wake up my mom so she can go to her treatments and stuff. Then wake up my little brother so he can go to school. Then I'll go to work. Or no, I'll go to school, then go to work. And I can't go to school every day because FedEx don't play. You late, they gonna mark that up. But yeah, sometimes I'll be tired, but I still push through it, bro. Because I gotta be there for my mama, because she was there for me when I was ages 1 through 18. She was there for me, so I gotta be there for her.
Tell me how your mom has also been a positive influence on your life, and kind of what she's instilled into you.
My mama always been there for me. Like I can't count on my fingers as many times she's been right. Like, cause she'll tell me something, and I wouldn't listen, cause bro, I'm a child, bro. I feel, and I'm getting older, so I'm gonna feel like I can do whatever I want, type thing. It will be right. Like, all right, I always learn my lesson the hard way. So she tries her best to lead me in the right way. She gives me the freedom. She tries to give me the freedom. But after recent situations, she steps in that mother mode and like, no, you can't go back to the east side for real. Like, yeah, she don't want me over there. That's why I'm stuck on the south.
That's all the questions I'm gonna have on camera. I do want to talk to you a little bit more after, but thank you for doing this for me, bro. I'm gonna include as much as I can into the thing.
Bleep out certain things, bro.
You can have me editing my ass.
Chronic absenteeism doesn't just affect students, it affects entire communities. When students miss school, they miss out on crucial learning opportunities, making it harder to succeed academically and in the workforce. This leads to lower graduation rates, increased unemployment, and a cycle of poverty that impacts families for generations, especially minorities. Schools, businesses, and local economies all feel the impacts of when students struggle to get the education and skills they need to be meaningful contributors to society. Addressing absenteeism isn't just about keeping kids in school. It's about building stronger, more resilient communities where young people can reach their full potential.